Hi everyone. Hello, how are you doing today? Um so today we're going to be talking about transitioning careers, and I'm going to be speaking from the perspective of the energy sector, renewable energy, and a lot of things that you've been hearing nowadays. But first I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Tolulope Falola. I am an energy expert. I have over 16 years experience in the energy sector. I've worked across the entire value chain from oil and gas to utilities to renewable energy. So I would call myself a well-rounded techno-commercial energy expert, and I've been part of projects beyond Nigeria. So I've worked projects encompassing different communities in Africa, and now developing projects even in Europe and in the UK. So today we're going to be dissecting and discussing the realities of transitioning your career. I want to say thank you to the She Is team, and I believe that this discussion is coming at the right time. I mean, there couldn't be a better time than this to discuss, the realities on ground, because I feel a lot of people are struggling, and they feel like they are like choked, or they feel like they are bored on their role, or I mean, they're thirsty for more opportunities. So what opportunities are available for you in the energy sector? I mean, so first of all, I'll just like to backtrack and just let's talk about the global scene, right? Let's look at the global energy scene. I'm sure we're all aware of the Ukraine crisis, the war between Ukraine and Russia, and how this has actually spiraled and affected every other country. So you can imagine how war will break out in one country, and this will have like a spiral effect. Now with the Ukraine crisis, we all know that I would also like to establish that Russia is actually one of the biggest gas producers, in Europe. So what happens is, with the war, Russia then decided that they were going to cut gas supplies. Now, gas is a very important energy source, right? Because it's an important energy source, and it's an important feedstock for a lot of things that happen, for a lot of countries, for power to be generated. Now, so with that Ukraine crisis, we saw how prices of diesel, of petrol, and all the crude derivatives go up, and of course this affected the back end. It affected the price that you're buying power today. We saw even in Nigeria, we found out that even our own distribution companies, like what we used to call NEPA, how they started to increase prices. So prices have been on the increase and all of that. But there is a future, and the future then is renewable. So I mean, in the midst of all of this, people are we know that there would be a need for electricity as long as mankind is on earth. We need power. So for me, I'm always very happy to say that power is one of the levers of and one of the levers and one of the foundation of every economy. Without power, there is nothing. I mean, without power, there's no telecoms. Without power, there's no manufacturing. Without power, there's no industrialization. Without power, all these tech things. So power is important. So I'm going to stress again, and I feel so proud. I feel so I feel like not just proud to be in this sector, but just knowing that we wield such amazing influence on all the other factors of production. So please, if you've been thinking of jumping into power sector or knowing more about the power sector, please take a seat, and we'll dive right in. Now, if you're thinking about the power sector and you're thinking of electricity, the first thing to know is that, so the first thing to also the best way to unbundle this is for you to understand that there is the generation part. For power to exist, it has to be generated. And then for power to get to you, it has to be transmitted. And then it has to be distributed to the end users, right? Which are you and I, our homes, offices, and all of that. So there are three pillars of power, the power sector, as we call it. So there's the generation, which is where power is being generated. How do we get power? This is the source, and then we transmit, and then we distribute. Now there are amazing opportunities even from the generating. So right now in Nigeria, we have generating plants. I mean, growing up, you will hear things like Kainji Dam. When it's rainy season, why is there more supply? Or when it's rainy season, it feels like we have power more. So we have things like Kainji Dam. By the way, Kainji Dam is actually a thermal plant. We're going to leave all of that. We're not going to speak so technical today. But Kainji Dam, that is one of the generating sources. Now, in the in the futuristic sense and in the new age sense of it, power has gone beyond just getting power from gas or getting power from coal or generating power from all these sources. Now there's renewable. And with the renewable, with renewables just simply means that a source of power that by itself can generate itself the next day. So it doesn't need man. So imagine the sun. Nobody needs to call the sun to shine, right? So it means that the sun itself, the sun as a source of power is renewable because every morning it's renewing itself, is able to all by its own self-supply. And then we have wind. And then we also have hydro because we all know that nobody can go to the ocean to say, oh, I want to add more to the ocean. I want to say the ocean to, I want to tell the ocean, I want to automate the ocean to start supplying. So that's where renewable energy comes in. Now, the current sources of supply that we have, the current sources that we generate from is like coal and gas and all these fossil fuel and things that that we've been exploring. They're from exploration sources. So coal, somebody needs to drill the ground to get coal from the ground, so it means that it's from an explored source. It's not renewable. But in the futuristic sense, or what I would call in today, one of the major sources of electricity that mankind is now we're exploring now is renewable energy sources, because we have discovered that these renewable energy sources, they are self-replenishing. So they replenish themselves. Here comes solar. Now, solar energy is derived from the sun and solar. So the sun is shining. Now, with solar energy, we have, you have like different equipment that you need to harness the power, because all by itself, the sun is just shining. You need like layers to harness the power from the sun. So you have like your solar panels, you have inverters, you have batteries, and then that makes a full solar system, full solar solution. And then you have wind. So you see like wind turbines and the blades and the rotors and all of these things. And it's generating power. Now with the wind speed, with the wind altitude, imagine a swish of wind. Woo, you know how the wind blows, the power, the force of that wind coming at a very high altitude can actually generate power. And now we also discovered hydrogen as a source. So you're hearing things like hydrogen sources of power. Now, hydrogen is very interesting because what hydrogen serves to do is just break down the molecules of water. Now, that is all the technical. So I'm just going to talk today about opportunities. Now, you're hearing all of these things and you're still wondering, Tolu is speaking so technical. I can tell you that there are opportunities on the entire value chain, from opportunities working with a renewable energy company, working in marketing. We need people to come and tell authentic stories, to take viewers, the people to the site and tell stories. How does this thing happen? How was this power generated? How was this project conceptualized? We have huge big solar farms, 1 megawatt, 100 megawatt in Dubai today. We have 5 gigawatts, being deployed. Those kind of big size projects, but people don't understand. So we need marketing people, we need communication people to come and help us tell the story, to help people understand how the power sector is very important, how to save power, energy efficiency, energy management. So please, if you are a marketing professional and you feel like you've been stuck, or you're just stuck in one aspect of marketing, please note that there is room, a lot of room, because most people that play in this sector are very technical people, and we need people like you. So if you're thinking of transitioning, you can actually, as a marketing professional, you can transition. We need procurement professionals, of course, because we are deploying large-scale projects. Every project would need, the word even project, so you think about project management. So you're trying to deploy even as little as 100 kilowatts. There are a lot of things that are involved, a lot of equipment, sourcing, you need to source. One of the largest producers and distributors of equipment today is in China. Now, we are not in China. Now, we are all import dependent. So it means that we import from China. Now, we need procurement professionals that would help us, that would source from different countries, that will help to to help get value for money for every project, so where is the best company to source from? What do they have? What is the right price to source? What is the best quantity and all of this. Because if you're a procurement professional, please know that, your skills are very relevant. So we're not just looking for very core technical people. We also need commercial people. We need business development people. We need sales people. You know that for every organization, sales is the engine, money is the engine. So we're looking for sales people. Now, for you to be a salesperson, working in the renewable energy sector, or working in the energy sector generally, it just means that you need to upskill. You need to be able to speak the language. You need to be able to, because for you to convert a client, I need to be sure that you know what you're saying. I need to be sure that you know what you're selling to me. So you need to speak the language. You might probably need to take a few courses to upskill, to get yourself at that level. So salespeople, your skills are very relevant. Now, there are courses also, there are also opportunities for technical people. Now, if you are a core commercial person, I was a core commercial person. I was core commercial for at least maybe for 7 years of my career. And I decided that it was time for me to pivot. I was bored just looking at the numbers. I needed to be the action point where, all of this power, the project and all of that, where it was happening. And I pivoted. And I can tell you that you can also pivot, right? From being a core commercial person, it only takes your passion. You just need to be very passionate and determined and disciplined, because you're going to be learning something entirely new. So how can you just take wear a new learning art? That's it. You're going to have to wear a new experiential art and to pivot. So there are a lot of training opportunities for people, for rookies, people that don't even have any idea, right? And they will take you through different lessons, different stages and it's not like they want to make you an expert. At the end of the day, it's not like you're going to be an engineer at the end of the day, but you're going to be a techno-commercial person, right? And there are opportunities, there are training opportunities, a lot of in fact, my own company will actually offer training opportunities for young women. So please, if you're interested, you can please contact us for more details. And we offer training opportunities from the basics, where we teach you even the basics of electricity, right? So what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is, if you've been thinking of transitioning, don't overthink it. Start from where you are. What are you currently doing now? What is in your hands? What insight do you have into this sector? What insight do you need to get in this sector? What are your ambition, right? And I can tell you, even the big oil and gas companies, the Total, the Shells, that used to be like core oil and gas company. A few years ago, they all evolved and they all changed names. And what are they now? They are now they're now like they've embodied even electricity, because electricity is the future. As I said, as long as mankind remains on earth, we will all need a source of power. Now, this source of power that I'm here to talk to you about, that I've been talking to you about, is renewable energy. So and a lot of opportunities exist from being a salesperson, business development, market development, procurement specialist, marketing, communications, training. If you have a passion for training and you can actually help people, get materials together and, write courses and all of that. And then you can also even pivot into the technical aspects, where you are like maybe a project manager, a business analyst, and all of these things. So all of these amazing opportunities exist. Now, there are other opportunities that even exist outside of the renewable energy sector, but I would say that I would like to advise that if you are transitioning, be very intentional about your transition, and know that it's possible. Also know that you might encounter some blocks, some hindrances along the way. Please note that it is normal. Don't beat yourself too much, because it's a new area for you, right? It's a new segment, it's a new area where you're just learning, and you might get poked at. You might also feel like I can't cope with all of these buzzwords. You need to give yourself time. You need to give yourself some allowances. Now, the face of work has changed. It's changed tremendously. The outlook of work, the work that we used to know before, how we used to work, there's been a lot of what will I call it now? there's been a lot of changes, right? There's been a lot of changes. So people are learning to pivot. You have to pivot. You can't stay the same. You can't do the same thing that you've been doing. You can't even do things the same way that you've been doing. I mean, technology, there's been a lot of disruption. Yes, that's the word. There's been a lot of disruption. And what we're trying to do with this series is to equip you with a lot of resources, with just enough resources that you need for you to understand that the disruption is real. And how would you start thinking, how do you position yourself even in this disruption, right? So the first thing is for you to look around you. I mean, you might not want to be in the energy sector. Not everybody wants to be in the energy sector, right? But I'm just saying that, I mean, if perchance you want, this is an opportunity that avails itself to you. Please don't limit yourself. Stop limiting yourself. Stop telling yourself that you're not an engineer, because no, it's not only engineers that thrive in this sector. However, let's talk about disruption of work. Disruption. I mean, if you look at things like AI, Chat GPT, technology, a lot of things are disrupting work. Marketing, branding, work disruptions, and all of that. So how do you equip yourself? How do you get yourself ready? How do you ensure that you remain relevant? The best way for you to do is to broaden your knowledge, right? I mean, your knowledge base, and just take interest in different things. At the end of the day, you probably be able to say, this is one of the areas. And please don't be rigid. And I mean, don't be rigid. It's so important for you to understand that you can't afford to be rigid or be stubborn to say, oh, this is where I want to be, this is the only thing I need to do. You need to you need to cut yourself some slack and learn new things. And another thing I would like to add is, you need to be able to tell yourself that you can start from the bottom again. So I mean, no matter how far gone in your career you've gone, can you start from the bottom? Can you start to learn all over again? Can you go back down to learn, to relearn, to learn new skills, to upskill, and all of that? Yes, and I feel that you also need to track your progress. You need to track your progress and be able to see where you started from and where you are right now. And yes, I think so. Those are some of the things I want to share with you today. I mean, there are a lot more things that I probably wanted to share on renewable energy, but I'm very aware that we have probably a lot of rookies will probably be listening to this. So please, if you're interested, we can have a more detailed session where I'm asking questions. We'd love to hear from you. Please, we'd love to also get your feedback. If there's anything, if there's any segment or part of renewable energy or any career path within the energy sector that you want to deep dive or know more about, please send us an email and we'll be glad to respond to you. Once again, thank you very much for the She's team for bringing this. I'll be glad to always come back and do this again and take more questions and deep dive if required. God bless you. Thank you.